I know we're on.
Good morning.
I know it's that time. Here we are. It's it's Thankful Thursday, and we're both like laughing like two kids on a playground because life's a playground.
It is.
Yeah. But the big point is you've got to build the swings and the monkey bars and the slides to be on that playground. The playground doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Now, Miss Manifester over here might share differently. And we're going to talk a lot about that today, along with authenticity. So let's get a few more people on this Thankful Thursday, October 17th, 2024. And Carolyn, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you so much for having me, Dave. Totally appreciate it.
Yeah, we're having a good time. And, we're live on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And you can always catch the replay on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other social media platforms. So yeah, let's get it. Let's get going. And Carolyn, how about you start off with our quote for the day?
Sure. So there's so many that I love, but what came to mind first today, especially talking about like manifesting, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. I think that's just such a powerful quote, and it just really sets the tone of like how important mindset is.
I love that. And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream. It's your weekly dose of personal growth. My name is Dave.
And I'm Carolyn Litton.
And we are live from the loft in downtown Arlington Heights. We're on the blue chairs. I watered the plant yesterday. We got Bob Marley behind us. And most importantly, we have our community. It's a community of leaders. We like to self-reflect. We want to be honest with ourselves. We receive feedback. And of course, we challenge each other to live beyond default. So thank you for joining us today. So let's start by throwing in the chat 3 things that you might be grateful for. 3 things that you might be grateful for. And if it's only one, that's okay too. What about you, Carolyn?
Oh gosh, I am grateful. Let's go connection. There's so many wonderful friends and family and colleagues in my life, and I just like absolutely love connecting. So I'm going to go with connection and connecting with all of you today too.
I love that. That's awesome. So let's start with, I'm going to say that this week I had a challenging week in business in a couple ways, and in my personal life, I think I was just up in my head. And you know what happens when you get up in your head, right? Mm-hmm. So I am grateful that although I was up in my head, it challenged me to stay on path. Mm-hmm. It challenged me to be true, to be authentic. And it challenged me to recognize that sometimes my thoughts are not my thoughts. And a lot of times it just has to do with my energy. And there's going to be ups and downs in life. So although I had a couple days where I was feeling a little bit low, I got through it. I stuck with what I wanted to do to keep me on path. And I am grateful that I was able to pivot and let's just say weather the mental storm.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the right thing to do, right? So you like experience your experience. You have that heightened sense of awareness to know that you're feeling that way.
Yep.
And then you're driven by your vision. So you're like, okay, so then we're going to, keep going.
Yeah. And always being driven by the vision. That is so key. And Carolyn knows about that. So drop something in the chat if you have something to be grateful for and you want to share it with the community. So today we're just going to dive right in because we have so much to talk about. And sitting here with Carolyn Litton is just such a gift. I'm super grateful to be by her side, not only here, but in many other ways. So Carolyn, I've only known you for a couple years, but you're full of focus, you're full of fire, and you're full of smiles, you're full of love, if anybody knows you. So tell us a little bit about the young side of Carolyn, like where you grew up, what you like to do as a kid, and maybe if there was like a significant moment that you had that you remember when you were a kid that maybe kind of defined you today as we talk about authenticity?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I haven't talked about, I don't know if I've ever shared this really, but I was very, very shy and quiet.
As a kid?
As a kid.
Yeah.
Which people might find hard to believe, but I was very quiet. And actually reflecting recently, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of always was a little visionary. I was a daydreamer. So I do remember like going to visit relatives, like long car rides, and I would always look out the window and I would just daydream. Like, oh, I always pictured like, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to have like a big house and a wonderful husband. And like, I remember just dreaming. So I guess I started visioning from a young age, which, yeah, I think that's super cool.
So you were a daydreamer as a kid.
I was, yeah.
Yeah. And like what crowd were you hanging out with in grade school and junior high and high school?
So again, I was very, very shy, very quiet.
Yeah.
So I was kind of one of those, like, I really was like all in my books, like my books and my schoolwork. So I really did not, like, I didn't participate in sports a lot. I was very, introverted, just very focused. I feel that my drive came from inside me. So I did very well in school, but I was never pressured from my parents or anything. I just had that inside me that I just wanted to do my very best. So that's just, I guess that was innate. So yeah, I wasn't really involved in sport. I did badminton. Actually.
You did badminton? Was that a sport back then?
Shush. I lettered in badminton, actually.
You what?
Lettered.
What's that?
Varsity.
Oh, you lettered. Badminton. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Carolyn's glory days on the badminton team. This is the best. Yeah. Oh, we're starting off well today.
So other than that.
Okay, so you were into books, you were into badminton, and you said you were kind of shy and introverted.
Yeah, I would say more so school than books. Actually, it's ironic. I didn't like reading. I hated reading, but I love reading now. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. That is neat.
But I was very into my schoolwork, I should say, like very like doing my papers, doing everything as best as I could.
I love that. And was there somebody as a kid that you admired? Whether it was somebody in music or the arts, maybe it was somebody in sports, or maybe it was somebody just in your family.
No, other than I would say my parents. My parents were just exuded love. I'm so grateful for my mom and my dad. They've just always been there for me, always encouraged me. So for sure, my parents.
Your parents. Yeah. I like that. So now Carolyn gets into her 20s. You know what? They grow up so fast.
Yeah.
Now Carolyn's in her 20s.
Now I'm in my late 20s.
Did you go to college?
I did. And actually, this is kind of funny. So talk about like authenticity and stuff. I went to college, but I did realize that was probably one of my big, I don't know what you want to call like shifts maybe in life.
Yeah.
That because I was so quiet, I was like, okay, I'm starting a whole new chapter. Nobody knows me. You know, talk about creating the life that you want. I wanted to be more social and know more people. So I was like, okay, nobody knows me. So I was on. So I would say I'm more the Carolyn that I am now when I went into college. But it wasn't really comfortable for me, but I decided that that's what I wanted. I wanted to, to be out there more. And I'm like, well, if you want to meet more people, you have to talk. So I kind of, I just went for it.
Yeah. If you want
more the version I am now.
Interesting. And that was in college.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school at?
Dominican University.
University. DU.
Yeah.
Love it.
River Forest. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Well, that's the younger side of Carolyn. And I always like to see these significant pieces and points, right? Like data points along the way on our train ride of life. And there's always some things that stand out. So thank you for sharing that because I've only known you for a few years. And I know it's just been an amazing journey in just the little bit that I've known you. We've got a lot of people coming on here. Christina says hi.
Hey, Christina.
Jim says good morning. He's grateful for the support. Great speaker I have received from my Networking from Introverts group. That's awesome. Jim loves that Networking from Introverts group. Betsy says, I am so grateful for my friends, support for actions going in my life, and clarity for my future. Love that, Betsy.
Hey, Betsy.
RJ, thanks for joining us today. Now, RJ, are you on Starlink as you're cruising around the country? Tell us if you are or not. RJ says he wants to be there. John says, hey guys.
Hey, John.
Looking at good friends. And RJ says, yes, he am. Awesome. So RJ is connecting us with Starlink. So speaking of Starlink, did anybody see the Starship go up and get blasted off this weekend, Elon Musk's? No. Okay. So it's his larger rocket that he tests and sends up. And, a lot of times you've seen before how the boosters will come down and then they'll land. Yeah. Well, this time the actual rocket ship, the whole big rocket ship landed. And what it did was he shot it up to space. It came back down. And then the launching pad had these chopsticks. And it came down. And then boop, the chopsticks grabbed it. And you watch this happening. So now it's like the whole rocket is reusable. Not just like these little fuel things. It's like the whole rocket is reusable. And to watch this thing, the first time they tried to recover it, it worked. And it was just this weekend. Yeah. So whatever you think about anything going on politically or how Elon Musk at times loves to get in the weeds. Oh, good old Uncle Elon. You got to love him. He's doing some cool things. I'm all about him. And watching that this weekend was awesome.
But you got to love the visionaries, right?
You got to love the visionaries.
Just saying.
Yeah, you got to love the visionaries. So tell us a little bit about vision and manifestation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of manifestation, it's basically like thoughts become things, right?
Okay.
And very simply, like that's one way to explain it.
So thoughts become things.
Thoughts become things. Like everything in this world that exists was once a thought, right? So when you're very clear on your vision of what you want for your life, I found that that's where manifestation starts.
Okay.
And the cool thing is, and talk about authenticity, when you can really connect with your authentic self and figure out what that burning passion and desire is, and then that becomes a vision. I truly attribute everything that I've done to my vision because I'm driven by my vision. Okay. So yes, we all know like life is not going to be super simple. Like challenges come up and things get in the way
every day.
But I haven't given up on the things that are really, really important to me because it's my vision that drives me.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. There's a theory about the looking glass self.
Okay.
And the looking glass self says that you see yourself as what you think that others perceive you as. Okay.
Yes.
So we talked about growing up.
Right.
We're talking about there's social circles. We're all in them. Right. This is time where we take out our notebooks. Everybody on this live stream, whether you're driving or, well, if you're driving, don't put on your notebooks, but just take your voice notes. The point is, like, this is good stuff. Right. So think about it. We've got that looking glass self theory.
Right.
So I might be defining myself, or I might think I am based on the perception that you have of me.
Right.
So where does that play into all of this? Especially now with social media, it's so different.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And it's so funny. The first time I heard that, I want to say it was Ed Milet. He's like, I love it. He's wonderful. But it's not, I'm not who I think I am or who you think I am. It's who I think you think I am.
Yep. That's the looking glass self.
That's the looking glass self.
Yep.
Just another way to express it. So how really I found it to be super, super important to really work on myself every day. So I just really work on my mindset and visioning myself, who I want to be and really embodying who I get to be. And I do like, this is a daily thing. So it's cool because I know that's how we really function. But when you can become practiced at that, you start not to care as much.
Interesting.
Right?
So,
like I can't say I never care, but for the most part, I'm pretty grounded in who I am.
And it's not that you don't care. You're
Right.
just maybe not affected by what others think.
Right. And
is what you're
here's
saying.
the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what you think. This is a story I'm creating in my head.
Yes.
So I'm like, so that's the other thing. So it's like that. I don't even know what you're really thinking. So it's really moving away from that paradigm of like, I think we by default, you know, start making up stories of what the other person's thinking about us. But when you're so, I don't know, connected with who you want to be and who you are and who you want to be and connect with that person, you stop making up those stories.
I like that.
Or you don't do it as frequently.
I like that. And if you want to live beyond default, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to what's going on. And think about what Carolyn said there too. Like every day she's tapping into thinking, feeling, auto suggestion of who she wants to be, the next version of herself. Right. It's almost as like I like to say, like borrow from your future self. Yeah. Right now, you're like acting, feeling, and living like yourself 6 months or a year from now. Right. And you know who talked a lot about auto-suggestion, right? Mr. Napoleon Hill. Now I know that some people will say that Think and Grow Rich was his best one. I'm going to say
I agree with you about
that. I think that Outwitting the Devil is even better.
Yes.
It's even better than Think and Grow Rich. And if you have not read this book, you hit me up and I'll send you a copy, okay? To one person, I'll send you a copy or I'll buy it and then I'll meet you somewhere when we're at a networking event or whatever. But this is the book that you got to read.
It's
because it is just beyond belief how good it is. So yeah, Outwitting the Devil, highly recommend it. But the power of auto suggestion, I like to think and I like to say, I am wealthy, I am free, I am strong, and I am love. And those words, when I repeat them, I become them. You become them. And I become more of them. And I've learned a little hack here, especially when you're running or you're doing yoga or you're rock climbing or you're lifting weights or you're doing something physical.
Associating movements.
Then you do that auto suggestion because now your body is absorbing it more because you're doing exercise. It's very, very interesting how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the looking glass self. We talked a little bit about how you're connecting into your vision every day. Again, so let's take notes about this. You hear so much about being authentic, though. Oh, be authentic this and be authentic this. And after a while, you wonder, like, is it starting to get watered down? Like, what does it really mean? Yeah. And what does it really mean to you? Being authentic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what does it mean to you?
Okay, very cool. And you're right. Like, I feel like this is a popular buzz topic and people are like, oh, authenticity.
It is.
And really, it's being who you are, who you truly feel that you are versus living up to like a certain role that you're supposed to play or certain expectations. But I'm going to add to that in that I think some people may not know who they are. And that was actually me at one point in my life. Like,
where you didn't know who you were?
Not who I was. So remember how I said, like, I was super shy and quiet. And then, like, I decided when I went to college, I'm going to be outgoing. Okay. So I wouldn't say that's inauthentic. Okay. I was never saying things that really weren't true to who I am. I would say that was more something I desired, right? I truly desired that. So I was stepping into who I wanted to be, but I wouldn't say that's inauthentic. I feel like in terms of authenticity is getting to know your true self, like your higher self. And that is really done by reflection. So I think the more we can be still and the more, you can go out in nature and just be quiet and set that intention to like, who am I? Like, what does light me up? That's authenticity. That's who you really deeply are. And sometimes I think it's just like, especially if you're feeling off or you're feeling like, oh gosh, I'm frustrated or I'm just not feeling right. I think you're just not connected with your true self and you're just not in alignment. So that to me is authenticity, being connected with your true self and being in alignment.
I like that. And tell us about the nature aspect.
Ooh. So the nature aspect,
Excuse me.
God bless you. That's something that I do every single day.
Okay.
Everyone who knows me knows I really, really hate the cold, but even in the winter, I'll bundle up. There's something really profound about just getting out in nature every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I stay, like, keep my mind cleared, and I'm able to do as much as I do because I prioritize that stuff.
Yeah.
I am outside walking every day. I get to know myself. I get to be still and reflect, or listen to an audiobook like Outwitting the Devil. So now I'm listening to those positive words while I'm walking. Like you said, you're associating the movement with that. Now you're leveraging your subconscious mind. So it's so cool. I'm a work smarter, not harder.
I love that.
Gal, people. Like, I mean, there's so many little life hacks to do.
Yeah.
That it's amazing. You connect with yourself. So talk about manifestation. You're clear in your vision. You know who you are.
Yep.
You leverage your subconscious. I take inspired action all the time.
Inspired action.
Yes.
Tweet that on social media, Sarah.
I've been able to do. I'm so grateful. That's how I've accomplished so much in my life. Break the mold never would have happened if it wasn't for inspired action. I'm like, oh, wait, we should do this. Wait. And it just comes boom, boom, boom. Again, with manifestation, when you can really leverage, again, your thoughts become things, and your subconscious mind, you naturally take action. And this is also one of my favorite things with manifestation. The right people at the right time show up in your life. But you're on that frequency when you can see it and identify it, because it's on your radar. So between your reticular activating system, guys, these are all life hacks. It's the best. So not only do I feel great, but I'm doing stuff for myself. Yeah. It's more productive. I've actually done more than I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I noticed even your hair looks great today.
Hey.
So many golden nuggets there. Let's take that down. So the reticular activation system, people are showing up in your life.
Yes.
Recently, I noticed that because I just listed my first $1 million home, right? Okay. And we're doing that. Now, what else is happening? Well, different people are starting to show up in my life as I'm raising capital for a senior living roll-up, right? Yeah. Being in like a higher echelons, working with family offices, calling on them, talking to them directly. Sure. I recently met a new friend, Lucas, who's very successful as an options trader. So it's like all of a sudden, like there's different people starting to show up in my life, and it's like me borrowing from my future self. It's like me seeing what my next steps are as I'm still a startup in my business, as I'm still gritting and grinding every day. But I do believe that works. So stay focused on the camera. So a couple of the comments that we got here is RJ says, I have not read it yet. Ileana says, send me one, LOL, woohoo. Yeah, love it. What you see is what you get. And Ron Granado says, well said. Yeah, thanks for joining us on the show, Ron. Ron is an awesome guy. So is Ileana. RJ, love it. We'll send you a book, RJ, okay? No matter where you are in the country, I'm going to get you one of these books, okay? Carolyn's going to send Ileana one. Alana one. And I'm going to send RJ one, okay?
Awesome. All right. Got it.
We got that down.
You got it.
So now we're talking about authenticity. We're talking about auto-suggestion. We're talking about manifesting and borrowing from our future self. It's a lot of big terms.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a big wrench into the whole thing.
Do it.
Okay. Yes. So we're raised by parents, peers, teachers, bosses, all these people throwing these things at our head, especially that time of like 5 to 8 or 5 to 9 when we're like sponges, right? We really haven't found ourselves yet.
A lot of influence, a lot of shaping.
A lot of influence and shaping. So I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to say, first of all, we're not even living our own lives. And what I mean by that is we were influenced by these people.
100%.
And so much of us are living the lives that others expect and that we're trying to live up to. So dad gives us a pat on the back. So mom gives us that hug, right? So bigger sister, older brother loves us, whatever it is. We're trying to impress and live the lives that they think. But now the funny thing is, which really messes it all up, is they're not even living their own lives. So now you've got people that have influenced us, taught us we're trying to live up to their standards because that's what we think are going to make us happy when it's not going to. And the funny thing is, those people, they're not even living their own lives. So Carolyn Litton, put that in your pipe, smoke it, and figure it out for us.
Okay. Well, here we go. No,
figure that one out, okay?
You're totally right. So what I would say to that is, so even the journey that I've been on with the whole manifestation, it's not easy. That's not a popular paradigm. You know, I grew up in society values grit and grind and hard work. And I'm trying to think of how to like delicately put this.
Put it not delicately.
Okay. I'm going to say, I've accomplished major things in my life. And I mean, starting charity, starting speaking group, going on stages, leading speaking groups, like I'm accomplishing and achieving things, but I can't say I'm grinding. I'm taking action all the time.
Okay.
I'm constantly taking action, but I work on myself and my alignment so much. And again, that's why I love manifestation. I swear by being in alignment, being in my authentic self, I attract the right people, the right opportunities at the right time. And then I go with it. It's just, it's in me. And it's funny because even though this isn't like the typical paradigm, I was actually with you at a president's luncheon just the other day. And we went around the room and everyone shared what they did. Again, these are all presidents, C-suites, like big achievers in the Chicagoland area. And we went around, shared what we did. And then the second time we went around and shared who our mentor was. And someone had actually said, you know, I manifested it. And I was like, wow, that is normally not talked about. Yeah. So I went up to him afterwards. I'm like, I just really wanted to, to pick your brain on that. Like, what did you mean? And he's like, every single big thing that's happened in my life, the right person's come at the right time. And I will say that's happened for me too. And again, I show up. Yeah. I do the work. Yeah. That's what I talk about, man. And I'm very clear on my vision. Yeah. And it's also about being your authentic self. I think people sense that and you attract the right people. Yes. And because I have the big vision. I didn't know the how. I just knew what my vision is and the why. And it's been a journey because it's kind of, it doesn't play out how you think it's going to necessarily. It most likely isn't. It most likely doesn't. It doesn't. But that's where for me, working on myself so much and just staying true to my authentic self, I also realize that's where the trust and surrender comes in. I trust and I trust my higher self and I trust in God so much that this is going to come to fruition. That again, during those hard days, I ground myself back in that trust and that surrender. And a lot of times it's even a better opportunity or something super cool comes out of it that wasn't really the original intention, but it's still aligned with my vision. Isn't that funny how that works out? Always. And if you're just joining us, we are on Live Beyond Default LiveStream, episode number 75 with Carolyn Litton. We're live from the loft in downtown Arlington Heights. Thanks for joining us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. And of course, you can watch the replay on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Like, share, throw a comment in there, and just bring the love, right? That's what we want to do. Carolyn Litton, tell the audience about your upcoming speaking event that you have in Schaumburg, Illinois. Oh, thank you. Okay. So I am speaking at Coffee and Contacts for the Schaumburg Business Association. That's next Thursday already, right? A week from today. A week from today. Yeah. So October 24th. For you to come. I'm going to go deep into, again, the importance of your vision, how to connect with your vision, and really use that to get unstuck. So I feel like there's so many places in life that we can feel stuck, whether it's relationships or career or purpose or you name it. So really sharing how to get unstuck and then also leverage the state of flow. So I'm actually not going to talk anything more about that because you should come if you want to find out more about what flow is. And I will talk about it from more, obviously I'm very big in manifestation, but I'll take it down to scientific terms, what it is. And again, however you dice it up, this stuff works. Carolyn, can't we just sit here and all day and the stuff will just pour in? Doesn't that just work? You need the action, but you got to be aligned before you take the action. So Carolyn Litton is going to be speaking
live in Schaumburg, Illinois, 1 week from today. That is Thursday, October 24th from 7:30 till 9 a.m. in Schaumburg. You can go to SchaumburgBusiness.com. That's SchaumburgBusiness.com to register. It's coffee and contacts. Carolyn Litton's going to be there. Okay. So your entrepreneurial journey. It's been a journey.
It has.
You've done some things.
Yep.
Before we get to that, though, Wendy says, love this new age thinking. Thank you. So needed our age of negativity. Look at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Ron says, Dave turned me on to The Alchemist. He ordered the wrong one, read it, and then bought the correct one and enjoyed both. Sometimes there are no mistakes, just extended journeys.
Yes.
Ron, that was so good that you brought that up. Thank you.
Right?
Yes, that was great.
Yes.
Jim, it's the
talk about another mind. I'm sorry, not to interrupt. Talk about another mindset that's really is so supportive. It's really about what supports us, or what does it serve us, or does it not? But when you can come up to anything with that mindset, even like, oh man, that totally didn't work out. Like nothing's an accident. Like I got to learn, what did I learn from that? Or did it keep me away from making this other, well, I don't want to say mistake, because again, if you look at life as you never, can make the wrong move, that there's something to learn from there, or you get to be a better person from it, that mindset is super serving. Yeah. And supportive.
Ron, thank you so much for saying. We got a few more here. You need to keep negative people out of your life. Yes, Jim, for sure. Sarah says, thanks for sharing another great book resource. I'm inspired to read that now. Sarah, awesome. Thanks for hopping on the show. Christina says, Sarah, we are doing this book together, 1 chapter a week. All right. It looks like you got accountability partners.
Yes.
We love those. Sarah says, yes. Chris says, woot. Well, we got a ton of comments here. You guys are awesome. Thank you. That's Barry. Thank you so much. What else here? All right. Oh, yeah. John Doherty says, teasing us. Carolyn.
Yes.
Carolyn, your vision project steps have helped me build the life that I envisioned, and I am so grateful. That's from Sarah. The Vision Project.
Thank you.
I love that.
I'm so happy, Sarah. I'm so proud of you.
And Sid joins us. Good morning. Good to see you both. So, Sarah, thank you for saying that also. Tell us a little bit about the Vision Project.
The Vision Project. Okay. So
how can you condense that into 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Starting now.
It's the theory. So I would condense it into it's vision, ground, grow. That's how to get in flow.
Okay. So vision, ground, go. That's how you get in the flow.
It's kind of catchy,
vision,
isn't
ground,
it?
Grow. That's how you get in the flow. I love it. That's very catchy. That's what we want.
So I'll go more into detail, but clearly it starts with the vision. If you don't have the vision, you're just going to aimlessly drift. It just doesn't really work, right? Yeah. So if you want to achieve great things, you have to have a very clear vision. Step 1.
Love it.
Step 2, ground, because life is going to life and things get hard. So if you don't have a tool to bring you back to the present and to not let those stories in your mind take over, it's going to be difficult. So
don't be a tool.
Right. Have a tool. So grounding is my favorite tool. So I'm going to talk more about that at Coffee and Contacts. And then the last piece is grow. So to grow, there's a lot of different ways with growth, but I grow reading podcasts. I'm constantly expanding my skill set, my knowledge. That has helped me also become the person who's capable of achieving that vision. Yeah. So that is huge. And I also say grow in a community. Find your vibe and find your tribe. Have people who are there to like uplift you. So if you vision, ground, grow, get in flow, I'm telling you that has helped me achieve my like most remarkable visions.
Find your vibe, find your tribe. It's like all these rhymes.
I think a lot of me have shared that. I love that.
You know what? Yeah. It works. And it's a lot. And we're all doing the best we can with what we have at this time.
Sure.
Always. Yeah. And we get that. And nobody's here telling people what to do. No. We're not saying, oh, you got to do this. Oh, we're so awesome. It's like, no, we're not so awesome. Like we F up all the time, right? I was just watching Gary Vee and he's like, once you start to realize that you're such a small little piece in life and you realize that nobody gives a fuck about you, then it starts happening. And that's part of the surrender. That's part of the release, but that is also part of the willingness to go deep. and willingness to dive into sometimes the dark side, a lot of times the dark side. We can find fuel from that, right? It's like you find your fuel from some of these things that are the oddest sources that you would never think to use. It's like
when you look at life again, I think that was my email, my newsletter last week, life not happening to you, but for you and through you. So like, right. It's again, when you can be grounded and when you can reflect and take time, man, I mean, that's how we grow. That's how, and it makes life a lot easier when you can, shift your mind, your mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling abundant right now, Carolyn.
I can tell.
I'm feeling abundant like a gold Ferrari. Listen to that song. All right, Carolyn. So your entrepreneurial journey, you've worked for others. You work for yourself.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Actually, okay. So I was a bank teller in high school and college. So, and after that, like right after college, it's kind of funny. My degree is in psychology. So life is actually coming full circle because even though my degree is in psychology, I ended up getting in the mortgage business. Total flow attraction. Could not have even plans that wasn't my intention, but as life happened and I had an opportunity to work for a mortgage company, which is actually where I met my husband.
And the Ricker.
Yes. I'm so grateful for that. But again, talk about being just, following your intuition. I'm like, okay, this seems like a good opportunity. And going outside your comfort zone is a 100% commission job. Yeah. So I was like,
love 100% commission.
So even though I've worked for a company, I mean, I've pretty much worked for myself since I've been in my 20s. Yeah. And again, there's risk. It's going outside your comfort zone, but I bet on myself.
And you bet on your risk, going out of your comfort zone and betting on yourself. Tweet that one, social media, Sarah. I love it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So in terms of entrepreneurial journey, again, maybe I was always a manifestor. I didn't even really realize, but I would say I didn't really work. And actually talk about being authentic and vulnerable. I've never really shared this, but I would say I didn't really do the traditional sales training, if you will. Okay. I was always just very authentic. I really very much cared about all of my referral partners and all of my clients. And I really showed up every day to serve. And I never saw myself, maybe it's a mindset thing, I never saw myself as a salesperson. I was there as a consultant, advising here's where I think in your best interest based on your goals and what you're looking to do. I knew my stuff, that's where my schooling came in. I knew all the loan programs. I'm like, okay, this is what you want. This is your best option. Here you go. Will help you. And I'm so grateful that I've just built so much trust and relationship over the years. And that's really how I built my business.
Yeah. Trust and relationships. And as you move into other areas of life, the trust and the relationships that you've built over the years, that stays with you. And people recognize, hey, this person's doing something different. Or, hey, this person's in a different realm. Or, I'm noticing a lot of similarities that even though this person has started a new business, but they're really doing a lot of what they did before. And maybe now they just have an opportunity more to share their gifts, right? Yeah. To fully express themselves. I mean, even saying those words, sharing gifts and fully expressing yourself, it's like you sit up tall, you feel good about that. And it's not like a pride thing, like I'm awesome. It's more of a just bringing it in, right? Opening up, being open to receive and sharing. Like what we say is being abundant, right? You fill your cup first and then the cup gets to the top and then it overflows onto everybody else. Yeah. And that's the key to being abundant. So I love that, Carolyn. Talk to me about, you said a lot to do of who you surround yourself with.
A lot.
Do you go to a lot of networking events? How do you meet people? And how did you build up your community beyond just maybe being a loan officer in the beginning in that real estate world? How did you build up your community over these years?
Okay, no, that's great question. So I actually really didn't do a lot of networking as a loan officer, but when I stepped into what I'm doing now, so the Vision Project and speaking, that is, I just made a shift because I felt that was my calling. So talk about authentic self. If you want to know if you're in alignment, when you get a vision and it takes your breath away and it chokes you up down to your core, that's how Hearts for Hope got started. That's how the Vision Project got started. Like I knew with every fiber of my being, I can feel it in my body. Like I'm getting choked up now that this is my calling. This is my purpose in life. So that's, oh my gosh, you're getting me all emotional. But that's where I was like, okay, I get to make a shift. And that's why I do what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
So I didn't even answer the networking question. Sorry. But the networking came up.
I'm so used to
that. So again, talk about flow and you never know where life's going to lead you. I took the leap. I jumped out of the airplane without a parachute. I was like, okay, maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I need to get this message out somehow. Maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. So I just, I played around, I did the YouTube thing. I did end up in a compilation book and I was like, ooh, speaking is a good way. Yeah, let me do that. So then I was introduced to a group called Engaging Speakers. And I attended that group and everyone who I met was just, it was wonderful. Everyone was, they're very growth mindset centered. They're there to learn, they're there to connect, and they were there to give. It didn't feel like it was a very salesy type of networking group. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can like learn from speakers and network with some pretty cool people. And then fast forward, I think it was maybe 6 months, maybe 4 or 6 months later, I took over for the previous chapter director resigned, and I now run the group. And again, that wasn't a part of that wasn't a specific goal of mine. My goal was to speak. And that's opened up so many doors. But that's, again, going with the flow and the surrender and the manifestation. I've always had that vision of being a speaker, and you just don't always necessarily know how you're going to get there. If you surrender, life will send the right people at the right time. It's really cool.
Golden nuggets. Write down these notes.
Easier said than done. Thus, the Vision Project. When you can vision, ground, grow every day and actually reprogram your brain, that's what makes it easier to trust and surrender.
I like that. And I'm going to turn that one upside down on its head.
Go ahead. Do it.
The easier said than done. I think a lot of times it's easier done than said. And the reason why is because we get up in our heads and we want things to be perfect and we want to be ready to do something.
Right.
When really it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Start the project. Once you start, you're 50% there.
Yes.
And so it's almost like it's easier to do it and just start something and not even think about it. And then the ball gets rolling and then you learn a little bit more and then you pivot and then you figure it out, right? These aren't like massive. I mean, sometimes they're big life decisions, right? But almost all the time you can pivot on anything. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And we want to just remind everybody that we are always into action. Like action is the answer.
Action.
That's what's going to move us forward.
Imperfect action. And take that imperfect action. Do it scared. Do it like, just do it. Get out there. Give the best that you can. Give it your all and just do it. And I'm telling you, like the universe, God, like, rewards you for that. You will get out, you will do that, you'll make an impact, and then another opportunity will happen. You don't go straight, there's no such thing as an overnight success. You don't go straight from, I have an idea to, speaking in front of 100,000 people. It doesn't work that way. But again, you have to get out there, do it scared, do it anyway, and just keep going. And again, when you can ground, when you can connect with your future self, when you can stay grounded and you have all these tools and you're led by your vision, that's why I'm so passionate about this. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm sharing my experience of what's been so powerful and inviting you to try it because it's such a wonderful way to live.
Yeah. Yeah. And really taking that imperfect action. It's like we're all looking for that dopamine hit. And that dopamine hit makes us feel good. And that's why social media is so powerful. That's why drugs are so powerful. That's why TV is so powerful, because we're getting those dopamine hits. That's why food is so powerful. And to wait until you feel good to do something is actually the opposite way. What you want to do is feel like shit, and it's okay. Take the action, and then you feel good after you took the action. Like, do you want to go to the gym before you go? No. Do you want to practice that speech one more time? No. People are deathly afraid of public speaking. Do you want to eat that broccoli instead of eating that French fry? No, you don't. But when you take that action, that imperfect action, that delayed gratification, you feel so much better later on.
Yep. And I'm not going to say challenge. I agree with that, but I'm going to add a little bit more flow to it.
Add a little more flow to that.
A little bit more flow
Carolyn
to it.
Litton.
Because here's the thing, like, if we can make it something that we desire, it's easier to do, right? So that's where the little life hacks come in. So you're like saying is it easy, to eat the broccoli over the French fries or whatever. That's where the inner work comes in, when you can take a little time every day to like connect with yourself, that healthy version of yourself. How do you show up? What would that person do? Like it becomes easier. I'm all about life hacks. Or is it, easy to go to the gym or practice that speech one more time? But if you can take a minute to ground yourself and connect with what that feels like and what to do it's not as painful. So that's my little life hack to make it that much. It makes it easier to do. And then again, when you become practiced at this, I'm telling you, you're unstoppable.
I love that. Jack says, great job. My daughter Gabrielle thinks you're great. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. And RJ says, imperfect action beats perfect inaction.
Yes. Yep.
Look at that. RJ's dropping nugs left and right.
Yes. And then and here's the thing, you're learning from it. You take the action.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. And you learn something from it. And again, that's just how you grow. It's a stepping stone.
It is a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not your stepping stone. I'm not your stepping stone. Isn't that how the song goes? Okay, Carolyn Litton, we're having a great event here. We're having a great idea jam. We're live from the loft. We're having fun here in downtown Arlington Heights on Live Beyond Default LiveStream, episode number 75, your weekly dose of personal growth. Now, let's dive into this. Where do you want to up level? What's your biggest challenge? 1 year from now, when we're sitting here toasting our spindrifts or whatever we're drinking, what are you celebrating? Based on your biggest challenge right now, where do you want to up level? What's that sticking point right now?
So for me, it's patience and even further leaning into trust. I do trust, but it's that patience and trust, because I take so much action. I feel like I want everything even faster and faster and faster. And I made tremendous strides, but my goal, I get to have global impact 100%. It will happen.
Yep. I
know it. I'm speaking on larger stages across the nation. I'm doing international retreats now. I know I get to make that global impact.
Yep.
I just started a few years ago, so I'm like, why am I not there yet?
Yeah.
So really leaning into patience. And I've also given myself grace and credit, really, when I reflect on how far I've come in the last couple of years.
Sure.
From my very first little YouTube episode, getting out there, doing it scared. I don't know if anyone's even really watching this.
It's the best.
And even just knowing I showed up and did the best I can in expressing what the Vision Project was. And again, just from getting out there and reflecting and learning, I'm learning how to message it where it resonates more. But again, and if I didn't get out there and not give up and just keep going after it, I would have, it wouldn't be where it is now.
Yeah.
So again, it's not global yet, but I mean, I'm talking like millions and hundreds of millions that I want to impact.
It's going global. Yeah. You heard it
going global.
Carolyn.
So this will be on this episode. So when I am global, I'll be like, check out this episode.
We're going to be live streaming from Africa. I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to be live streaming from Peru or Machu Picchu. So share with the audience and everybody your thoughts about patience. I can order something and have it delivered in 3 hours. Could be food, could be a product.
Mm-hmm.
I can go on Tinder and hook up with somebody in an hour or two. Why do I need to be patient? Everything is so instant gratification right now. The world is set up for instant. How do you be patient in this world that's set up that way?
Sure.
How do you be patient?
I'm tying everything back to the vision because that's where it all starts. So really connecting to what that is and why I want it.
Yeah.
And again, through grounding and just realizing that I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing the best in the moment and realizing that the people are showing up and I am taking action and the momentum's happening. That patient, being impatient is not going to serve me. So I have to go lean back to the trust and identify that patience is something that I want to really bring about and that will serve me. So again, connecting with that, what is it that I want, realizing that that serves me. And because being frustrated it's not going to serve me at all.
No.
It's going to take me off course. And
I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't know if I explained that very well.
You explained it fine.
Okay.
You explained it wonderfully. I don't like that F word. You said patience. And the other one was trust. It takes so long to build up trust with somebody and with yourself. And it's so quick to knock that trust away that's been built up for years. Who in your life did you trust and then they did something to you where you lost that trust and maybe it's affected you to this day?
I've been asked that question before and I really I'm so grateful. I really can't.
I got that out of the LiveStream question.
Yeah. I've been asked that before.
The LiveStream handbook that I read every day.
I don't have anyone that really betrayed my trust that I can think about, and I'm not going to try to focus on recalling it. But what I will say, I'll take this opportunity to talk about trust.
Love it.
Two things.
And that's a great answer. I love it.
It's like, I don't know. I've been asked that before, and I'm not going to try to seek it out. So, so two things about trust. I'm super grateful. I have a strong faith in God. So that has been tremendous, has been a tremendous impact in my life. Yeah. Just having that trust in God. And then the second thing is when you're feeling distrust, look back to the times when things did work out, when you didn't think they were going to work out and you saw that they did play out and worked out for you. And you may not have realized it at the time, but connecting back with those past moments helps you regain that trust.
That was beautiful. I love that. That's going to be a clip that we're throwing out on social media. I absolutely love what you just said there. Thank you.
Sure.
What we just witnessed right there and the way she talked about that, even if she was able to find somebody who maybe betrayed her, she wasn't going to go there. Why wasn't she going to go there? Because she doesn't want to go into the weeds. Why else? Because we're not victims. We come from a place of abundance. We're not pointing a finger at the economy, the president, our ex, our boss, the price of Bitcoin. That doesn't matter. It comes from within here. And when we have that abundance mindset, when we have that winning mindset, doesn't mean you're always winning, okay? Winning has a very interesting definition to it. The point is, though, you're not going to get in the weeds and you're not going to start pointing and taking that victim mentality. Because once you take that victim mentality, that energy shifts. And here's another thing. You want fans? You want people in your corner? You want to start a whatever book group, whatever social media platform? Get in the victim mentality. You're going to get thousands of people to rally around you and point fingers at something else to blame for what you don't have in your life. And we're not about that here.
Absolutely.
So what you just said there, that was so powerful. I so appreciate that you said that. And if we take away anything from this Live Beyond Default live stream, that's what it was right there when she answered the question about trust. Because I tried. I dug. I tried to get there. I'm like, come on, let's see how she's going to answer this question. Like I said, I did that on purpose. I loved it.
And also, again, with manifestation, I had to tie this back into, it's about really like attraction.
Yeah.
And how, okay, without getting too like how you vibe, how you vibe, right? You have good vibes, bad vibes, right?
We're energy.
How you vibe, we're energy. We're all energy. How you vibe is what you're going to attract.
Yeah.
So that's another thing when people are like, "Oh, Carolyn, you're so lucky." Like I work on myself and I choose to focus on the positive. And again, I have tools when, again, you know, of course I have bad days too, but then, you know, it's just getting back to that better feeling place. But who I am in general, like I choose to be positive. And that's a choice. And that's what I'm attracting into my life.
Yes. And we all have a choice of what to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So I read something so interesting in this book when I first started in real estate. It was called Wholesale Abundance. Very interesting. All it had to do was about mindset. It didn't talk about the how of wholesaling or investing. All it talked about was the mindset. And I remember one of the chapters, and this is why I was hooked on the book. It was like chapter 2. He talked about no matter what happens to you in a deal, no matter what anybody says, if somebody hurts you, if somebody says something bad, if somebody runs over your dog, he used that as an example.
Oh, he's not messing
You've
around.
chosen how you're going to show up to every situation and every day.
Right.
And you're not going to go and attack the person. You're not going to put out that bad energy. And it doesn't mean it's not going to hurt.
Sure.
And it doesn't mean that somebody did hurt you. Most of the time, not personal. Remember that too.
Right.
When people do things, it's not personal.
It's not about you. It's about something inside of them.
Inside of them.
Yeah.
They're not even really thinking about you. You just happen to be the end result of it.
Right.
When he said that, I remember that. And it just reiterated like, yes, remembering that it's coming from within ourselves. Are we going to react to what's going on around us? Are we going to react to this upcoming election? Are we going to react to whatever? We could go down the list. Or are we going to respond, right? Are we going to be responsible? Are we able to respond?
Love it. Respond versus react. And that's where one of my other things is we create our own reality. The event happens. We choose how we're going to respond to it versus react. And that's why, again, not to like tie this back to the vision project, but I'm just so passionate about it.
Tie it back.
It's because it's that daily grounding. I'm telling you, you don't have to meditate for 10 hours, but I'm telling you, if you can become practiced and incorporate it daily in your life, you can take that second, take the breath to like, and do that and shift and say, how do I want to show up? But like, again, it really requires, in my opinion, daily work, daily intention. Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And take a few minutes to ground. Again, you don't have to spend a lot of time, but it's intention and really making it a practice if you want to really make a shift in your life.
And it's that daily practice. I sit on these blue chairs almost every morning and I do my Wim Hof breathing exercises. I sit on these chairs and I auto-suggest. And I give outward affirmations and I meditate for 10, 15 or 20 minutes on these blue chairs live from the loft. And what does that do? Doesn't mean I'm going to be so successful. It doesn't mean I'm awesome. It just means I recognize that there's these daily practices that are easy to do and they're easy not to do. And I'm choosing to do them because there's a reason behind it. And it's going to work and it's going to help and it's going to make me that better person. It's going to, I don't like to use that word make. It's going to inspire me. It's going to encourage me to be that better person, to be my future self and to step into that next better version of me where I want to wake up every day and share my gifts with the world like you do. Amazing. Like, what else are we even getting up for? Yeah. Why are we even getting out of bed? Just to do the right thing just because. We're not looking for anything in return. We just want to do the right thing. And we love doing that. This was an hour already.
Oh my goodness, that flew.
This is an hour already.
See, that's I could talk about this all day long.
We've had so many great comments. I so appreciate
you.
Carolyn coming on here.
Thank you all for being on. Appreciate you.
Yeah. So what are we celebrating 1 year from now?
Ooh, 1 year from now.
Yeah, 1 year from now, what are we celebrating?
1 year from now, I'm going to say 3 to 4 more international retreats because part of my passion is travel. So why not be able to make a difference and an impact while doing what I love? So I get to travel to all these cool places around the world and uplift people and help people step into their power and transform and step into who they want to be.
Love that.
I am literally living my dream and I'm so grateful. But it starts with a vision. Vision, ground, grow. It's how to get in flow. So 4 more retreats. Let's throw in an international stage that I get to speak on and additional stages so I can continue to uplift and inspire others.
I like that. Well, thank you so much for being not only an amazing guest, not only an amazing friend. You've inspired me to be better. You've encouraged me to be better in the speaking world. And I've been on stages with you, which I absolutely love and I'm so grateful for. And just thank you for waking up every day and really challenging yourself to be the best version and really and bringing it to other people, right? And just being open and so giving all the time. It really has made such an impact on so many people, Carolyn. We look forward to seeing you next week on
Contacts.
October 24th. Go to schaumburgbusiness.com to register for Coffee and Contacts. Carolyn will be there speaking. It's going to be another awesome event. And we're episode number 75 here on Live Beyond Default LiveStream. So episode number 76 is going to be the first week of November. There is October's a long month. So we actually have 2 weeks off and it's going to be 3 weeks from now. So it's the first and third Thursday of every month. Live Beyond Default LiveStream. We're going to be live from the loft. I'm going to keep tweaking some things to make it a little bit better here, but we're loving this new vibe.
I do love the vibe.
We've got some great guests coming up. Look at the plant. It's like I watered it yesterday. Okay. He's doing okay. We got Bob Marley in the background. We're always going to have cool people in this chair. But most importantly, we have you, the community. Let's get out there and do the best we can for everybody. And of course, as Gabby Vargas says, text somebody today and tell them I'm thinking of you.
Love that.
Right?
Love that. Love that.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
No, just honestly, the intent of this is really just to inspire all of you to take that, to be in stillness and connect with your vision and connect with your authentic self and truly pursue the life that you want to live. So that if there's anything that you take away, just to go after your dreams.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Make it a great week.
Yes. And go forth and be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.